Howdy, I'm Keith Fitz-Gerald. Welcome to today's 5 with Fitz. You know, the S&P 500 has officially erased 2025 losses, and it's powered by easing inflation, whispers of a trade war, detente. It's now up roughly 1,050 points from April lows. Meanwhile, the NASDAQ just notched its fifth straight gain. Now, this is hard to believe for some, but I think the markets are just getting warmed up. Yes, there could be some selling here and there, but the markets are just getting warmed up. And history agrees with me on this. And again, I know this is hard to believe, but it's important you make peace with this concept as an investor or trader. Doubt and fear are normal, and they're often the hardest to overcome at precisely the moments that matter the most. Now, I've seen this dozens of times in my career and in markets worldwide. FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, eventually gives way to clarity and profits. And that's happening now. Bottoming isn't a light switch, it's a process. And up and down, give and take, that's part of it. Now, what's really clear about this is that investors who lean in despite the fear, and I mean it, despite the fear, tend to do very, very well for themselves over time. Those who don't, well, they're left at the proverbial bus stop wondering what the you-know-what happened. And worse, they're left with the knowledge of knowing that they've doomed themselves to perennial poor performance, having missed out on yet another chance to make bank. The thing I want you to think about today as we go through our 5 is that investing in optimism always triumphs, especially when most investors believe it's impossible. So, take the risk or lose the chance. It's just that simple. Here's my playbook today anyway. Number 1, is there anything left to buy? I joined my friend and colleague, the fabulous Scott the Cow Guy Shellady, yesterday for a wide-ranging discussion about what investors should do now, and specifically, is there anything left to buy? Now, we also talked about what to avoid, as well as my thoughts on nuclear data center power. That's a big deal that's got a lot of people's attention right now. So you can watch that video elsewhere on my channel, but I hope you enjoy the conversation as much as I did. Number 2, Palantir to $200 plus once the sheep catch up. B of A now says Palantir is a market definer for AI with a shiny new price target of $150 a share. I mean, you think? Really? I mean, this is amazing to me. My target is still $200, which I, by the way, set on February 2025 for the record. And after it took out the $100 I'd had on the map since about $50 a share. If I were a B of A client, I'd be thinking to myself, gee, thanks for nothing, fellas. And the question I'd be asking is, where were those guys at $7 or during the recent pullback to $74 a share? Oh, that's right. Many of them were polishing their spreadsheets. Nah, but I digress. The point I want to make is that waiting for Wall Street analysts, particularly on the sell side, is a lot like designing a camel by committee. It's ugly, it's slow, and you're almost guaranteed to get spit in your face. Now, to be clear, there are smart, forward-thinking analysts out there, but my experience is they're rarer than hen's teeth. So, not surprisingly, when you find one, you want to pay attention. Now, if that's me, great. If it's somebody else, that's also great. No offense taken. For the most part, Wall Street's sell-side analyst community is a herd. They're tight, they're cautious, they're allergic to risk, and they won't stick their neck out when it counts. But they'll sure as hell pile on once the coast is clear and the gains are already made. So if you want to get ahead and you're a serious investor, you got to do 2 things. Number 1, you got to think for yourself. And number 2, you got to act when others waffle. This isn't rocket science. Now, today's number 3. Why growth is still the real story, not taxes or the Fed. I had another interview earlier this morning. I sat down ahead of today's opening bell with the super smart Kristen Solar at the NYSE for a delightful conversation about why growth is still the real story and not tax cuts or the Fed. We also touched on why I think every serious investor should be all over the Saudi deal announced yesterday, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But meanwhile, watch what I had to say with Kristen. Think about where you're going. Think about what you want to accomplish with your money. I hope you enjoy that one too. So number 4, which brings me back to the Saudi Arabian deal. If you're really an investor, you better be paying attention. U.S. President Donald Trump just secured a headline deal. Now, take politics out of this. We do money, not politics around here. The thing you want to focus on, this is $600 billion in Saudi investment into the U.S. economy. Now, the announcement came at the U.S.-Saudi Investment Forum in Riyadh, where President Trump also signaled a major foreign policy pivot, including the removal of all U.S. sanctions on Syria and a first-of-its-kind meeting with Syrian leader Ahmed al-Sharaa. Now, I think, talk about investing potential. This is it just is amazing, jaw-dropping, actually. The average investor is lucky to see deals like this once or twice in his or her investing lifetime. So it's very important to latch on when you do. Now, why is that? Because Saudi Arabia wants to own the future, and they're using oil money, all that oil money, to buy the rails of the next industrial revolution: AI, data infrastructure, and space-based networks. Now, this is logical, and it's to a point I have made many, many times. I believe that we stand on the cusp of what I call the sixth wave, a shift so massive, so comprehensive, that it is rewriting human history in real time. And the sooner you get on board, the sooner your portfolio can thank you. Take a look at the image of the sixth wave if you're reading along in the 5 with Fitz, because that's where it's really going to hit home. They say, picture is worth 1,000 words, and I can't describe it adequately. But this is the same thing that happened. We saw rail, steam, transportation, penicillin, electricity. All of these things changed the course of human history. We're on the cusp of a sixth wave. The graphic will make it clear. Now, my POV on this situation is the same as it always is. Keep politics out of this. Saudi Arabia's got the money, they've got the motivation, and that region of the world is going to matter a lot to smart investors in the decades ahead, just like China did 30 to 40 years ago when it first emerged, or Japan after World War II. The investing tip here really isn't just about the here and now. Deals like this are about looking decades ahead to see where the money will get spent, practically no matter what. Profits typically start early, and they don't wait for the headlines. So I don't want you to either. And finally, number 5 today, AMD is much more than NVIDIA Lite. Now, here's why I say so. AMD just announced a $6 billion buyback. This is on top of the $4 billion they already had authorized. So it signals serious conviction from the board with regard to AMD's cash flow, its strength, and its long-term roadmap. Now, the stock is, of course, moving. Hoo-yah! I love it when this happens. But the best part about it is not the fact the stock's moving. The best part is the market keeps mispricing AMD because it sees the company as NVIDIA Lite. And that's not only completely off the mark, but it misses it too. AMD, yeah, it still lives in NVIDIA's shadow, but the public imagination, but the two aren't even remotely playing the same game. AMD's edge will come down to execution, margins, software, leverage, and data center traction. That's where the real story is and what Wall Street should be watching. Personally, I hope I'm smart enough to buy more shares. And not for nothing, but the sell-side analysts are probably going to tell you all of that after AMD has returned to new all-time highs. I, on the other hand, told you to buy in April at 76 bucks a share, and I'm telling you again now at 119 when it's already up 56%. Now, if you remember the OVA family or One Bar Ahead family, well done for having been in the game from the very beginning, by the way. Today's bottom line: your job as an investor or trader isn't to figure out where the markets go next. It's to recognize what they're telling you, that they're in motion, and then act on the signals created. As always, let's make it a great day. You got this, and I will see you tomorrow. Make it a good one. See ya.